puerta de salida de la carpa de la alfombra roja tras la calle donde ya se
Great. So you have Chris and Patrick from the Star Wars team at Hasbro here. I'm excited to chat with you guys. We have 50 minutes today. I know I checked with you guys earlier. We can extend by an extra 10 minutes, which is great. So we'll go till about 11:05. And I also sent around the question order. It looks like we are missing 2 folks, but I'll just repeat the full order in case, just for everyone's easy reference. So we have Julian first from Kugura Pop, which isn't here right now. So in which case we will start with Mark from Fantha Tracks. Then we have Volker from Star Wars Figurin, who is not here either. But if he joins, we'll let him jump in there. Dan from Star Wars Collectors next, then David from Endor Express, Jose from Endor System, and then Chris from Galactic Figures. So I will also give everyone the ability to record this session as well if you'd like to post audio or video for your coverage. And that's all from me. I will let you guys just jump right in and get started.
Absolutely. Awesome. And we'll end at 11:05. And we will dive right in. Mark, what do you got for us? Start us with a great question.
Recording in progress.
Excellent. I have a question. US previously announced release dates. Is there any way that Hasbro can keep customers updated on ships in timescales and delivery dates?
Absolutely, yeah.
Maybe via a page.
It's a good question. We've been saying the state of the world a lot this morning, and I think that's kind of led into a lot of this. And we've talked about, and we'll look into. There are challenges that I won't get into. But obviously, our goal is always, the thing that drives us is delivering the best possible product for you guys, and taking the angst out of it as much as possible. So it's something we've talked about, and it's something we could see in the future. Cool, awesome. All righty, Dan from Star Wars Collector.
Morning. So Hasbro promoted the PulseCon 2021 exclusive Black Series Cantina Showdown playset, being able to combine with the additional Cantina Showdown playsets to create the full scene in Star Wars: New Hope. But you guys limited 1 per customer. How are we supposed to build out the playset if you guys don't make quantities available? And will there be more quantities available in this form or another in the future?
Yeah, it's a question we've gotten a few times this morning. And it's definitely a fair one. Again, it gets to that state of the world. When we originally envisioned this item and kind of designed it as modular, whatever it was, a year and a half, 18 months ago, the world was in a very different place. And just honestly, right now, we didn't get the quantities that we had expected because of the state of the world. We're potentially looking into getting additional quantities of that item in 2022, because again, we want fans to be able to build out the full Cantina if they want to. Given the quantities we had available, we wanted to do our best to ensure that everyone who wanted one got one. That was kind of the side that we erred on. But again, there's the possibility that we would get additional quantities out in 2022. I don't know if Chris wants to speak to the last part about kind of getting it out in one form or another.
Yeah, and I think there's always the possibility that we can find another way to bring out some of those Cantina part sets, but there's no plans for that currently. But it is the sort of thing we always look to is ways to continue to offer pieces like that for fans.
So. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, David from Endor Express. Morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. My question is regards to the Galaxy's Edge products that you have put out or announced. There's 3 sets. In the first batch, in the first year, you guys had new characters like DJ Rex and Hondo. This one, there's fewer newer kind of characters. Can you kind of talk about how possible it is to get someone like Doc Ondar or Vimerati into the future sets, something like that?
Yeah, it's certainly possible. Nothing's out of scope. I think there were kind of a few new characters like the Pit Droid. Obviously, that's a smaller droid, but I think that one was brand new. Our tooling library is certainly at a different place than it was, for Black Series 3-4 years ago when we were first planning those items. I think we first started talking about them in 2017. Black Series was only 4 years old at the time. Now it's 8 years old. So just we were able to do some things with our existing tooling library that we weren't able to do back then. But yeah, certainly those are great characters from the parks, and certainly things we've talked about, and some characters we could see in the future. Cool. Awesome. All righty. Jose from Endor System. Morning.
Well, there's no plans for that currently. Those first few waves, we had opportunities with our games team to bring other special figures out for those, and that's where those came into play. We're still looking for ways to do other options like that and bring special figures out for people, but with the first figures that we were doing being recreations of Kenner stuff, we felt it was important to find ways to do new figures and kind of see how fans responded to those. I mean, there were passions for us to do those, but now that we know people really like those new figures and the Mandalorian and other stuff, it's a fun way to do things. So always, like I said, always looking for new ways to do other figures and find little places we can do exclusives or something like that. So hopefully there'll be more like that coming.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right. And Chris from Galactic Figures, bring round one to a close, Chris.
Good morning. The Vintage Collection Troop Builder sets that you have exclusively on Hasbro Pulse and Shop Disney, what are the plans for those sets? Are those going to stay in rotation for a few years, or when they're sold out, they're gone? Because the Stormtrooper set's been sold out for a few weeks now, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of neither one of those extremes. It's somewhere in the middle. They aren't necessarily one and done items. The intention is definitely not, this is a quantity, they sell out, they're done forever. That being said, again, with the current state of the world, we would love to kind of, keep them in stock or do reruns and have them come back. We're just not sure how feasible that is. If there's that demand for items, as always, we're exploring keeping those in stock. I've said in the past, it's our dream that every fan who wants one of a certain item gets them. That's obviously kind of, good for us. It's good for you guys. It's what we want. It's just a matter of priorities and trade-offs, but it's something we're exploring for these items. Absolutely. Awesome. All righty, back to the top with Mark.
Second question. You've done smaller ice spiders for the build-up packs in Vintage and Black Series, and they look fantastic. Is there any possibility of a big spider ever seeing the light of day?
I think that would be awesome. I don't think we're ready to do a HasLab spider, though, to attack the Razor Crest, but I think we say it all the time. We're always looking for ways to do new stuff. A giant spider, I think unlikely. There's probably going to be other things that would take priority. I don't think anybody would choose a giant ice spider over a blurg, say. Creatures are a fun part of Star Wars, and we'll keep looking for ways to do things. So
awesome. All righty, back to you, Dan.
The HasLab Black Series 6-inch Rancor looks awesome. We got drilled, but you didn't include the bone that Luke shoves in his mouth. Will the bone be included if the numbers hit the bonus tiers, and can you possibly make it break apart?
It's a good comment on breaking it apart. We'll see. We don't know. We're basically going to, the reveals. They'll be planned throughout the campaign. We could see some of them sooner rather than later. So yeah, we're excited about the Rancor campaign. We're excited to see how it does. And so we could see some of those tier reveals again sooner rather than later. We will see.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. Back to David from Endor Express.
All right. So for a lot of the Black Series announcements or reveals for the Mandalorian Season 2, they're looking so fantastic. But now we're looking at getting them almost about the time when season 3 is starting. Is Lucasfilm holding back on reveals, or is it just kind of, like you said, the state of the world and all the delays? And for the Book of Boba Fett, they just dropped the trailer. Will we be seeing, I think we saw some leaks already, but will we be seeing more figures on time for that show?
Yeah, we talk a lot about balance, and I think it's a balance here as well. You know, we've said in the past, going all the way back to episode 7, we saw Luke Skywalker in episode 7 the same time fans did. You know, I've said in the past, our partners at Lucasfilm are, you know, the best in the business. We love working with them. They're great about providing the design team with, you know, whatever we need with concept art, photography, and more to create the lines. That being said, it's often, you know, a decision that we make together to benefit the TV viewing experience for us to hold back that merchandise. So, you know, we in a perfect world, we would have kind of the product all on time, but we also know how magical it was. You know, I said earlier, I got goosebumps talking about it, seeing Luke at the end of episode 7. You know, we know how great it was for the world to experience the child there on the screen. And so it's important for us for that reveal of new characters to be a special moment for fans. So that viewers can kind of discover the story as it's unfolding. So we always try to strike that balance. So we'll continue to see some items kind of day and date with entertainment or shortly thereafter, and then some items that'll take a little longer. Cool. All righty, back to Jose from Endor System. Back to 2017 at least, with our episode 4 40th anniversary, and then certainly continued in 2020. And we kind of blew it out here in 2021, celebrating the 50 years. Instead of going back to a single moment in time, we were celebrating the full journey. And so we got to do, you know, items. We actually did Phantom Menace as well in 2019, just a couple items there. We were able to expand that, do Clone Wars, do some other things. And it's been great to see the response. So, you know, I don't think we would expect to see it for Clone Wars. There's so much going on in 2022 with new entertainment. And someone mentioned the trailer that just dropped, kicking it off. So we're excited to focus there. But given the love and the kind of excitement we've seen, you know, definitely safe to say that it's a good format and something we'll continue in the future in some form. Cool. Awesome. All right. And back to Chris to end round 2.
So you've revealed Figure in the End coming to the Black Series line and to the Vintage collection. And I was wondering what the plans were for this figure. So we can build out the band, or is the plan to
quite yet? Basically, we are aware of the desire in both scales for the full band, and we're talking about and figuring out ways to make that happen. That said, obviously we can't deliver the full band in mainline, so we're figuring it out. But there will certainly be a mainline release, but then, you know, also potentially a way to get the full band. Awesome, absolutely. All righty, back to the top with Mark, and then I see Volker may have joined, so we'll try to get him caught up. So Mark, round 3.
Round 3. Repaint and retools seems to be getting a focus with a heavier use of sublines, i.e. Credit Collection 50th, Carbonized, etc. Some people think that feels like it takes away from mainline releases. Is that the case? Or indeed the plan?
Yeah, I think the short answer is no. And I don't have the specific numbers in front of me, but I'm nearly certainly we have more mainline releases here in 2021 than we did, you know, and again, maybe it ebbs and flows a little bit, but certainly than in 2018 or 2017. So the short answer is no. You know, we've said in the past, those are really a bonus. And I think if you look at the number of Black Series releases, you know, it's really exploded in the last year or two. So those are a bonus. If they don't kind of get you excited, that's totally fine. And not you, Mark, but you kind of the fans out there, that's totally fine. Like, not everyone needs to love everything, but they're there if you like them, and if you don't, they're not taken away from what you do like. Great. All righty. Do we have Volker? All right, Volker might be having some technical difficulties, so we'll try to get him caught up if he's able to come on later. So for now, back to Dan for round 3.
Cool. Hasbro Pulse Premium members, why was there no early access to the PulseCon 2021 Star Wars exclusives? A lot of people paid for the premium membership just to get early access and other perks, but that doesn't seem to be happening. And also, for the Hasbro Pulse exclusives, is the Princess Leia Yavin Ford still scheduled to be released today, and is it going to be 1 o'clock?
So a few questions in there, so I'll try to get them all. But basically, thanks for sharing the feedback from fans. Again, that's partly why we enjoy doing these, to get that information. All I can say is, unfortunately, at the time, that is the policy. We hear you guys. We're going to take that feedback into consideration. But hopefully, premium members enjoyed the 1027 event last week with a few cool Black Series reveals. That was just for premium members. But yeah, no, that is the policy. And what was your second question?
Back on a couple months ago, you guys mentioned that Princess Leia Power of the Force carded Yavin Ford figure was get pre-ordered today on November 1st in the US. Is that still happening today, or did it get pushed?
I believe it's still today. Yeah, no, that item is still coming to the US.
1 p.m. Eastern today?
I'd have to circle back on the specific details.
Okay, it'll probably.
But that's usually our time. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Awesome. No problem. All right, David, back to you.
All right. I have a lightsaber question if you guys can take that. There's a lot of folks who visit Galaxy's Edge and buy those legacy lightsabers. They always ask us, what's the difference between Hasbro's releases? What can you tell us about that? Do you look at the differences, and how do we tell fans, how to do their shopping, the habits of buying yours versus Disney's?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really fun for us to see kind of all the great Star Wars content and merchandise and products available at the Disney parks. I think we shared in our PulseCon presentation, a group of us, I was on paternity.
To release, or is there anything like that?
Yeah, I think, again, that's kind of ends of the spectrum. We certainly don't kind of do anything in isolation, and they don't tell us, you have to do this. It's, as I've said, it's a great partnership. They bring fantastic insights and info. We do the same as well, and we hope we always arrive at the best conclusion. Cool. Awesome. Jose, back to you. But from the mainline release. Cool. All right, let's bring it.
The Galaxy's Edge Black Series First Order multi-pack has General Hux in it. Is that an entirely newly sculpted head on that figure?
Yes, that's a new head. So, yeah, wanted to address that portrait and do him justice. So he's got all the fun hair and everything he needed.
Cool.
It looks great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Wait.
I think Chris and his team, kind of on the fan side for design, I think they do a great job of identifying, which characters the photoreal update will unlock a great sculpt, and which characters we really do need a new sculpt. So I think I nailed it there. All right, that's it for round 3. Let's kick off round 4. Back to Mark, and then again we'll check in and see if Volker's with us.
Excellent. David very wisely asked one of the questions I asked earlier, so I will ask a different one on the fly. The Vader saber that you announced last week that's coming out, can we anticipate familiar previously released sabers to be coming out, but with additional upgrades or tweaks or better technology, stuff like that people can see these classic sabers once again in Force FX Elite line?
Well, without saying anything about specifics of sabers, I mean, I think it's logical to assume that there's some classic sabers that are important to the shows, and we're always looking to update and bring those things that you might have seen in our FX line, in FX Elite line, with all the enhanced features and benefits of that. So, yeah.
All righty, Volker, are you with us?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes.
Okay, I have mighty problems here. The computer keeps freezing up on me.
No problem. Well, we'll try to catch you up. So, give us your first couple questions.
Well, let's start with the first one. You just showed the Rebel 4-pack, and in the live stream you claimed that one of these troopers is the the Antilles. And the question is here: will this be released on a New Hope card, maybe, because the figure itself is not very correct? The Captain Antilles, I mean.
I'm sorry, I don't think I understand the question. Will the Antilles figure be released on a card back by himself?
Right. You showed the Rebel Fleet Trooper 4-pack, and one of these figures.
Well, I don't know that we would release that separately, but I mean, it was important to have a different figure and to address that character in there. So bringing that character to the 4-pack allowed a little bit of variety and a different look out of those. There's no plans for him currently as an individual.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Volker, do you have a second question? We'll try to get you caught up a little bit.
I'm actually searching for them right now.
Probably.
Maybe skip to the next guy, and I'm going to look at my questions.
All right, Dan, back to you. Round 4.
Will Hasbro be breaking up the newly revealed Disney parks, Shop Disney exclusive Galaxy Edge, Black Series First Order Droid Depot, and Creature packs later down the road and make them exclusive like they did with Target in the previous packs?
There's no current plans to do so, and there weren't those plans kind of when those items launched in 2019. That Target Galaxy's Edge program last year provided a great opportunity to do that. If a similar opportunity comes up down the line, we're certainly open to it. But right now, the plan is for those items to just be available in the Galaxy's Edge sets. Absolutely. Give it back to you.
I was typing. So we love the Mando. We love Grogu figures. I feel like as collectors, we've been getting the same figure quite often. So I'm wondering when we might see a cloth cape on Mando or something that can drape a little better with the rock pack behind him.
Or for which
Black Series, I guess. Yeah.
And it's a nice feature upgrade. I mean, I don't have any specifics to tell you about anything coming, but I mean, we're always looking for ways to improve and modify things that way. In regard to like the cloth cape and backpack, like that's a nice way to address having that with the backpack. But sometimes it doesn't make sense for the posing and stuff of the figure, and to be able to really give an accurate look to things. So we tend to lean into the accuracy a little more sometimes. But yeah, nothing's off the table. So, and I'm sure we're going to see more variations of his outfit and look.
Yeah,
as we go forward. So
I hope so, because I want to just change up the besides paint decos, like a different looking Mando on the shelf.
Yeah, we'll see what comes.
All right, thank you.
Cool. Jose, back to you.
But of those two, any chance that we can to pay tribute or say thanks in that way to creators is important to us, and especially, and I'm sure Patrick feels the same way, but as a designer and someone who creates stuff for a living, I feel like it's our responsibility to acknowledge other creators in that. And those are a great way to do that. So where it makes sense for the line and where it makes sense for what else is going on, I think we'll try and find ways to do that.
Cool. Awesome. All righty. And back to Chris for the finale of round 3.
The vintage collection Navarro Cantina playset looks great. We know that you can build around the corners, but is it possible to plug 2 of them next to each other to make it longer? Kind of keeping the IKEA Billy bookcase in mind, right? Because it's a little tricky to build forward because they're not that deep, but I know a lot of people have those to display their collection. And so I was wondering if you could plug them together side by side.
Yeah,
make it longer.
They're configurable in different ways. I mean, we show a couple of ways on the package, but it's designed to be modular so that you don't have to go with what we've shown, that you can kind of create your own displays of it.
Okay.
Cool. Alrighty, let's jump to Volker for a couple questions, and then we'll go back to the top.
Okay, quick one. The Trooper 4-packs, the Stormtrooper packs and the Rebel Fleet Trooper packs are hardly available here in Europe, and UK is not Europe. So I'm wondering, how are we supposed to troop build with these figures? I mean, it's a great idea, and the price point seems right, but where's the availability for?
Recently, the EU will, outside the UK, Europe will be getting availability later this year and into 2022. We've talked a lot about the state of the world here today. It's later than it would have normally been, but I have confirmed that they are still coming. And Pulse is obviously the other end of these items. Hasbro Pulse is actively working to expand to additional markets outside the US and Canada and the UK. No other specifics at this point, but more details to come there. So we're excited about both of those potential ways to get these items to you guys.
Yeah, please get them here. People are looking for these.
Yeah, I get it.
Of course you do. Next question would be about the Pulse exclusives. The Emperor Throne Room so far has shown up here in Germany and in Europe, but the Trapper Wolf and the Cantina set so far has not.
Yeah.
Any ideas?
Yeah. So these are different than Pulse and Shop Disney exclusives. These are convention exclusives. So they're handled exactly like our convention exclusives from the past, whether they launched at Celebration or San Diego. They've always launched at the lead convention, and then they've been available globally, and these are handled the same. So you're right. The Emperor's Throne Room, I confirm that is coming to Germany. I haven't heard on the other two. It's always our goal to ensure that those are available globally, and we'll continue striving for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. And we'll come back to you for your last two, Volker. But first, let's do Mark. Mark's final question.
Okay. It's a HasLab question. What is the model of HasLab? Is it only going to be the big ticket items, which so far have been fantastic across the brands, or will it eventually be used for other things like smaller, desirable items that might not be quite right for mainline retail?
Yeah, so the dream for HasLab, the vision is to deliver dream items. So it's never kind of been explicitly limited to big things. It's those dream items that we can't get any other way. And so those smaller but desirable things. In a different interview, they talked about figure packs. Those, we have no current plans for those at this point, but they're certainly not out of scope. It's definitely something we could do in the future. Again, our goal is to use HasLab to deliver those items that fans, are dreaming about and would love to own, and we can't get to them in a different way. Cool. Awesome. All righty, let's do Dan, and then we'll skip back to Volker for his last two questions.
Well, my last question was about the figure, Dan, including all the instruments. Maybe it's a deluxe pack, but you already answered that. So I'll ask the 3 figures in the Cantina Showdown playset. We already know that Ponda Baba and Dr. Sun as single box. We've seen some pictures online leaked already. Will the Obi-Wan be single box in the future, or is it going to be exclusive to this set only?
Yeah, we can't comment on anything that was leaked. But right now, there are no current plans to do the photoreal deco update Obi-Wan anywhere else.
Okay.
Absolutely. Cool. All righty, Volker, last 2 questions.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a quick one in here. Talking about the figure in Dan, Angela said hi, and she was weeping, not hearing her name.
Yes.
About the Rancor, the HasLab situation here. This is now the 3rd HasLab that is basically really not including the Europeans again. So once again, we're sitting with Zavi, which is actually a UK retailer, in order to get the Rancor. And I just looked up the population. I mean, the population of Europe is like 170 million compared to 63 million in the UK. Nothing against my fellow collector friends in the UK, but
Mark's a lot of right there, Volker. He's right there.
There's a lot of people looking for like a little bit of easier access, you know what I'm saying? And like it's a 3rd attempt now, and again we're kind of left out here. And as you know, we have to pay lots of custom import fees just to get this thing over here.
No, I think there's 2 things here. So one is, and we might have talked about it in the past, but obviously we've come light years from where we were with the barge, and so kind of we're excited to make progress, but we're never kind of just being like, all right, we're done, and we're looking to continue making that progress. So that could be through other retail partners. That's a possibility. The point about Hasbro Pulse, we are certainly exploring and actively working to expand to additional markets beyond the US, Canada, and the UK. So that once that happens, then that unlocks that way to deliver the items. So again, we're excited at some point in the future to announce more additional details there if that pans out.
I know you guys try your best. I'm sure it will improve.
Thanks. All right, and then last question, Volker.
Yeah, about the Cantina, the Navarra Cantina is actually like another cool piece of a playset here. The only thing that I'm wondering is, like, in the past we had, like, I don't know, when there were the movies coming, we had figures coming out in advance. Now we got the Book of Boba Fett coming, and we really have nothing like coming in advance other than a couple of characters that we're like chasing up and just to fill up in the line, but nothing like in advance to show us or to deliver us, like, I don't know, Boba Fett's throne, stuff like that, which is actually Bib Fortuna's throne.
Yeah, it's a cool idea. I forget if we talked about it on this conversation or another one, but we always try to strike a balance. Obviously, in a perfect world, we would have all the toys to support a property day and date with that movie or TV show. At the same time, we know how magical it was for fans to see Luke at the end of episode 7 for the first time and not know he was coming, to see the child Grogu at the beginning of The Mandalorian and not know he's coming. So we have great conversations with Lucasfilm about striking that balance and delivering product where it makes sense, timed with movies or TV shows, and then holding it back where it makes sense. So I have no doubt that at some point in the future, we're going to see a lot of great stuff from the Book of Boba Fett, and I'm excited, loving this conversation, but excited for it to be done so I can go watch that trailer that was dropped. But we'll just see when that is, but we'll get it out as quickly as possible when it makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. All righty, Dan, last question from you.
Oh,
sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. The jumping around confused me. And kudos to Dan for not grabbing an extra question there.
Oh, no.
So David, last question from you.
All right, this one's an easy one. So CB23 in the Galaxy's Edge pack is the first character from the Star Wars Resistance cartoon. Was that just like an easy kind of that would be fun to do, and are there future plans for Resistance in Black Series line? I mean, I think the answer is probably not, but I had to ask.
No, no plans for anymore. But that was a fun character to do because you see that character or pieces of that character at Galaxy's Edge. So it made sense that way with stuff we had available. So
cool, awesome. All right, Jose, what do you got? Definitely not the only option. Again, kind of the Star Wars galaxy is so vast. There were a lot of good options, but I think we said in the PulseCon launch segment, you know, going back 4 years, like the Rancor as a potential Black Series item was in conversations from the very beginning. So it's so iconic, you know, it's so memorable. It's a great size. It's something, again, to the point earlier, we couldn't do any other way. It's that dream item that was only possible through HasLab. And again, you know, as we announced, it's going to ship in early 2023, and you know, it's from Return of the Jedi, and so we were excited to kind of celebrate that movie in that window. So, you know, at the end of the day, it wasn't difficult. It was kind of the perfect option, but there were many other great choices and many other great potential projects in the future. Cool. All righty. Absolutely. Thank you. Chris, bring us to a close.
The bubble on the vintage collection, Mando Christ, Mandalorian that comes with the spider, looks rather large. Would you consider bringing back the packaging type or style that you had for the Kmart exclusive Imperial Scanning Crew and the Ewok with catapults, maybe for sets like that?
A good thought. That set in particular it was kind of a unique set with all those accessories, and really want to be able to show those off well. So it made a lot of sense there. I don't think there's been a decision about like how to handle that sort of thing down the road, but I don't think it's unreasonable to expect us to do more kind of larger sets like that. So we'll see what form that takes as we go. But
okay.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. We love doing these. And, you know, we know that you take time out of your day. It might be crazy hours depending on where you are in the world, but it's great for us to chat Star Wars and, again, hear what you guys are talking about and what your readers and listeners are thinking. So thank you guys so much, and we look forward to doing this again at some point in the future.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Patrick.
thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.